Oh, too close, but it's pretty. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm great. Yearly poinsettia video done. You can check that off. The video's been around, but I have people that still ask me about the poinsettia stuff. I'm like, you know what? It's a quick and fun, easy thing to talk about. I could just post a new video about them every single year. It's fine. Who cares? I don't mind it. I don't think I'll even have to edit that video because I was fairly fluid. I stumbled on a few things with my words, but for the most part, it was pretty smooth. Some things came out of order, but wasn't too bad. I don't have much planned for this week, but what I do have planned, I think could be fun. I have a bunch of little plants over here that you're not really gonna be able to see from here. So there's a little Hydroponics right there. Tons of plants from Plant Delights that need to be repotted. I got these last fall. They've been sitting around their little containers, and I was just waiting for some more free time to get them bumped up into new pots. And I got the pots in the mail yesterday. I love them. A little bit pricey for plastic containers, but I was like, you know what, these look nice. And I wanted to try square pots. I have plenty of round pots, but I wanted to try square because there's poinsettia sap inside there. I should have thought about that. Wash my hands now. Don't touch my eyes. Got to remember that. These will go better on the shelves, right? Because I can put them side by side. I think that space-wise, it just makes a little bit more sense. So this is what I got. Nice big square pots. It was $50 for 10 of these. So they were $5 a piece. I feel like that's kind of pricey. They are really thick and a decent quality, but I don't know, like $3.50 feels more appropriate, but it's fine. They're nice big containers. They're not going to blow over very easily, and they'll stack nicely together. The white, that doesn't really matter, does it? Because these are going to be covered in dirt and stained, and it doesn't even matter if they're white. Black was also an option, but I thought white would be a nice change because all the pottery's usually black out here. So what else do I have? Oh, okay. So I got a bucket here that has some potting mix in it. I'm going to get this blended up, and I'm only going to show it the one time as I go through all of this. This is, I don't know, it's like a 5-gallon, 22-quart bucket. Yeah, boy's dating an executive chef, and on the weekends, we go to places like Restaurant Depot and restaurant supply stores, and while they're buying food, I am having a blast looking at wholesale containers, and I was so excited when I saw this. I was like, I can show you guys ratios now. It's going to be much easier. But I have to be careful with it because I feel like it's going to get scratched up very quickly. All-purpose potting mix, big, nice, chunky perlite, not that stupid little, what is it, that like little sprinkles that don't do anything. I like the big, chunky stuff. I'm going to add some of that fine white sand to it and probably a scoop of the Ocean Forest potting mix to help liven this up. And that's going to be a blend I'm going to use for everything over there. I'm going to be repotting the Hydroponics, which is a butterfly ginger, and I believe the rest are bananas. I think there are, I might repot the Laziocarpa. So maybe repotting the Laziocarpa banana, we will see. And then Musa unanensis, and I don't remember what the other one is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're all over there, and we'll get to that. And then when all that fun repotting and everything's done, I need to come in here. I need to do some pruning, and I like to do some more planting and just play around with the plants and have some fun. Maybe go ahead and get the philodendron lilies down here set up and ready to be moved into the fish tanks. I got those in a haul, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I'm talking about how I'd like to grow those up out of the tops of the fish tanks. That would probably be a good thing to get done. Or I don't know. It's Monday. Who knows what's going to happen this week? But the thing that I need to do is repotting. So we'll go do that. Or probably deviate to something inside for a while so you can see the pets and then come back out here because I actually need to run inside, which means I have to turn off all my lights, move all the lights around and everything. So I'm sure I'll pick back up indoors, but we'll be back out here eventually and get something fun done. Oh, and it's 4 degrees outside. According to the app on my phone, according to my sensor in the backyard, it's 13. There's a pretty big difference there. I'm not sure which is correct, but it's like 23 or 24 in the greenhouse, which makes me think it's probably more like between 8 and 13. 4 seems a bit extreme, but it's freaking cold. Really freaking cold. And it's just supposed to keep getting colder. I need to move these, take them with me and set them someplace on the other side of the garage, someplace dark and cool. Oh, and you know what? I just remembered, I think I have some amaryllis bulbs that need to be potted up too. I gotta remember to come over here and turn the heater back on. I only had it off for about 20 minutes to film Wednesday's video, and I swear the temperature in here is probably plummeted 15 or 20 degrees. Okay, so this is where I've been storing my bulbs because it's pretty drafty over here and gets nice and chilly. This is where I'm going to keep the poinsettias to. I'm going to clear off a little spot on the shelf, though, so if they're not down on the ground, they'll just rot and die down on the ground. And by clear off a spot on the shelf, I meant just randomly set them down anywhere they would fit. I have all these poinsettias. Oh, wow, look at that one. Uh-oh. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Well, they need to get potted up. I ordered these right after the holidays, so that's why they're still in the bags and haven't had a chance to pot them up yet because, you know, holiday stuff was going on. So I had them over here someplace nice and cool. Oh, keeping them over here nice and cool. Let me finish that sentence. I forgot about these. Uh-oh. I planted up 4 of these, and it looks like I have 5 of these left. That ground is frozen. I'm not getting these planted. And I don't think there's enough of a chill over here for actual dormancy, right? Because the amaryllis bulbs, they'd be rotting. Well, I don't know. That's something we can figure out later. Actually, you know what? I have a wine cooler that doesn't have anything in it. I bet I could stick those bulbs in the wine cooler. Probably should do that. Okay. Hopefully, there's enough room in here for these. I know there's some ice in the back, so I should probably thaw this thing out. I have it set at 40. Should be fine for the bulbs. You know, you can put bulbs in your refrigerator, but you need to put them in like paper bags and pack them up with peat and everything. I don't know. I don't feel like doing that. So that's what I'm going to do. So there we go. I have flower bulbs and vodka. Perfect. Exactly what I want in my fridge. That'll do. Oh, I should actually want to keep the light off. Right? Should be dark. That's as dark as it's going to get. That should be okay. Could always drape something over the top, I suppose. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Come on, Puff Puff. Come on. Come back. Come back. You don't want to say hi? You're not in the mood? What about you? You're feeling a little bit more friendly, huh? Aren't they cute? The Amazon puffers, I love them. Cute fish. Need to clean the glass on here. Okay, back to the grow space. Oh, look, Christmas. Mostly put away. Never thought it would happen, right? Toby, you want to say hi? Want to say hi, Tobes? No, you don't feel like it? You good boy. What a good boy, Toby. He's not doing well. 14 and a half. He's had a nice long life, but, you know, I have a feeling his day is coming fairly soon. He just can't use his back legs anymore. So he needs a lot of help getting up. But yesterday he was surprisingly able to get up, no problem. But for 3 days prior to that, no, you have to help him every time he wants to stand up, which I'm willing to do. As long as he seems happy, then I'll do that for him. But just imagine eventually, you know how it goes with old dogs. They do the thing where they're not doing well, and then all of a sudden they're a little bit better, and then they're not doing well, and then they're a little bit better, and every time you think it's time, they're like, oh, wait, everything's okay. It's a lot. That's Toby. There's your Toby update. These all, I think, are these all cherry nymph in here? The cherry nymph is a great amaryllis. They have tons of flowers on them. I thought that I got one that wasn't cherry nymph. No? All cherry nymph, huh? Apparently. Okay, that's not that exciting. Thought I had some others in here. And I have the Temptation inside. And I think I have another cherry nymph on the... Oh, no, the other one that's inside is like red velvet. It's a dark red color. Very pretty. It also needs to be potted up. Okay, so these are ready to go. Just need to find some pots for them, and then at some point we'll get over there and start to repot those plants on the shelves. Okay, I've gathered my things. Had to get the drill out because I found a couple of pots that I wanted to show y'all that need holes drilled in them. Added some sand. See that there's the sand. Probably too much. I did a full scooper full, and this is my scooper. I think that I didn't need that much. It's all right. That'll be fine. Can always add some more soil to it if need be. And this is the pot that I'm going to put all of those amaryllis bulbs in, except for this one. This is the one that was in the house that I told you about. It's called like red velvet or something. I don't know. These are not a good representation of what the flowers look like on this. They're like a dark red with a lighter outside of the pep. You get it. Actually, you probably don't get it, but don't worry about it. You get to see it next year. And I was thinking that for this one, I'm just going to pot this up in its own thing right here, just like that. This is a self-watering pot, which is not necessarily at all for the amaryllis, but this one is on the struggle bus. You see what's going on there? It's not squishy, nothing like that. If it were squishy, I'd be doing a whole lot more with it, peeling back stuff and spraying it, maybe some sulfur powder, spraying with peroxide, hydrogen peroxide, but it's not like that. So I think this is fine, but there'll be some extra airflow in this container for it. And this, it had, I don't know where it is. Where is it? I'm looking around. You can't see that, but I'm looking around. These little basins that the water can sit in, and that will help direct the roots down towards the water, right? So it's self-watering-ish. These have these spots in the bottom that will wick moisture up. So I'm gonna have to be careful with this to not let water sit down here in this reservoir until the plant is starting to put out roots and I'm seeing some foliar growth on it, because otherwise it will rot. So there you go. Y'all know what's going on now with that one. This one right here, do you remember this bowl? Isn't it beautiful? I love this bowl. It doesn't have a name on it, or does it? There's something written on the bottom there. For decorative use only, not food safe. Okay, well, okay, yeah, no name. I'm pretty sure I got this at Target like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, a long time ago. It's just a nice looking bowl. Over the summer, I had a bunch of orchids in here that I had packed in with some floral foam and then put moss on top of it. There's still some moss stuck to the top. I've had this sitting out here underneath the heater up there for about an hour now, because this thing was frozen solid. Like I mentioned, single digits outside. So that pot got pretty cold and I want it to warm back up fairly slowly. So I don't want to crack it. Didn't crack. So apparently it's also freeze proof. That's good. Don't know if that'd be the case if it had water in it though. All right, so do I need to add anything else to this mix? For amaryllis, I really don't think so. This should be good. Well, that made for a decent arm workout. I didn't want to use a tool to come in here and mix it. I usually use a bull bogger or something. I think that just would have scratched up the inside, so I just picked the whole thing up and basically shook it around. Sand could still distribute some more, but I'm not too concerned about that because these plants don't really need a lot of sand in their mix. They don't. Nothing I'm potting up today is going to need this much sand in the mix. It's not going to hurt though with what I'm doing here. It's not going to be a bad thing to have the sand in the soil. It's a lot. Sand can retain moisture, so that is something to be mindful of. This is a very fine grade sugar sand. I don't think that I'm going to have to worry about that, largely just because this chunky perlite is going to keep things nice and airy in here. Now spread that out. I'm probably going to plant these amaryllis bulbs a little bit deeper than traditional because it's a big enough container for them. So typically, you know, when people are talking about, myself included, potting up amaryllis, they talk about leaving the top third to 2/3 of the bulb exposed. And that's really just because they tend to be in smaller containers. That's just to allow more room for the roots to grow in the ground and everything. You can plant them. I mean, you can plant them all the way down if you live someplace where they're perennial. In the house, I still think it's a good idea to have the top of the neck of the bulb, that's what I'm trying to say, exposed, just to help reduce the risk of rot, because once these have all their foliage out, it comes out in that fan shape and it can be really easy to get a lot of water down in there. You just don't have the airflow inside like you do outdoors, so I just think it's a good idea to let them be up higher. Should I have grabbed some scissors? Oh, I have scissors. Look at that. I was prepared and didn't even know it. Does that count as being prepared? Probably not. Go ahead and get this poor thing out of the bag. Man, I probably should have gotten to this about 2 weeks ago, but hey, better late than never. They'll be okay. These will straighten out. They just look kind of silly right now. They will straighten out. These are nice big bulbs. They're from Eden Brothers. What is wrong with my mouth tonight? These are from Eden Brothers. See that? They had a sale towards the end of the year. Cherry Nymph is one that, well, it says right here, 24 inches tall. It's one that, it's very floriferous, puts out a lot of flowers that they're just a nice cheery red. Nothing really crazy special about them, but they're a very heavy bloomer. I bet this is going to be a pain. These are probably all going to want to just fall out of here, aren't they? Yeah, these don't want to stay in place. They're all wonky and wobbly, but you can just make it work, right? Just keep fidgeting with them, press them down some. I'm still gonna have these sticking up because you can see there's some desiccation on these. So again, when you have that desiccation, they're going to be more prone to rot. Let me just grab my soil scoop here and get this filled in. It's probably, the scoop is so freaking big. I probably won't need all that much soil to pull that off. Wouldn't this have been beautiful during the holidays? I didn't have it during the holidays. They weren't here yet. But next year, this will look so nice. Have a nice big bowl just packed full of the amaryllis, and then I'll either fill in the rest of everything with some kind of nice preserved moss, or lots and lots of those little round color glass ornaments. I really like top dressing pots with those during the holidays. It just adds a lot of color. I don't know if I would use the multicolor ones for this, so maybe like champagne and silk. It's not Christmas time. We don't have to worry about that till next year. Right now, we just need to get the soil around these bulbs so that they can get going and do their thing and survive. I guess I should say moving forward from this, well, really I'm just going to be treating them like you would any other amaryllis. It's just in January instead of in, November when you would normally start up an amaryllis bulb. They're going to go through the same cycle. Going to keep them growing and then cut them back in the late summer, early fall to trigger blooming on them. Going to have to make sure that I remember to move them someplace. It's more on the dark side, reduce watering, let the foliage yellow out, and then completely stop watering for a little while, as in several weeks. And then around November, start watering them again. Pretty simple. I wouldn't typically water these in right away, but some of these bulbs are really dry, which has me tempted to go ahead and water them in, even though I know that I really shouldn't do that. There is some moisture in the soil already, because what you're supposed to be doing with bulbs and their flowers is to just let them do their thing. All that power, energy they have stored up from the bulb up into the flower, and that should be good enough for them. But the bulb's already starting to dry out, so it might be a good idea to give them I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait a few days and then give them a drink. And really, the main reason that I'm tempted to go ahead and water them in is just because it would help distribute the soil, make it a lot easier to get the soil spread around into some of these cavities. But can just wait a little while to do that. Just need to give it several days and can water them in. I'm leaving this pile nice and high because I'm probably going to come in here with some moss and top dress this just to make it look nicer. And I like for them to have that slope, that slopey angle up top. And oh yeah, if you're doing this, avoid doing what I've been doing, just dumping soil into the center of the bulbs. They don't like that. I already talked about that, right? It's not a great idea when you're growing these things indoors. Outside, plant them in the ground, different story, in a container. You don't have the same airflow in the house, so they're going to be more prone to rot. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, that's good. That's done. It's inside now. With this one, the bowl. The bowl is inside now. I'm going to go ahead and just cut these off. You can leave them and let them fully yellow out, so that way nutrients and everything get back down there into the bulb. But I don't know. I just don't really think it's necessary. This guy is already so sad and shriveled up, right? May as well just get all that stuff off of there so that it can get on with life and start growing. It's just going to keep withering away. That's what it's supposed to do, but I don't see much benefit left once it's shriveled up that much and the bulb is starting to desiccate as much as it is at this point. When it's already starting to wrinkle up, that means that it's more important, I think, to get the plant ready to put out some roots and then start being able to take in water and start growing. I think that's the top priority. So not necessarily trying to get this to pull that good stuff back in there. I don't think it's really necessary. Once all of these amaryllis are flushed out with foliage, then that is a good time to hit them with some bulb tone, which is a granular, so I don't know why I said hit them. It's like you're spraying them with it, but you know what I mean. Mix some slow release into the soil. Manure, compost, all that good stuff. Blood meal, bone meal helps build nice, strong, healthy bulbs for next year. That looks good. And I think it's actually probably going to be really good for this one to have it in this pot that has a lot more aeration in it, just to help make sure it doesn't rot. Okay, now move on to some other things that I wanted to play around with out here. Another abrupt change. That's how we do things here. It's the next day because I pulled the plants out to repot them and they were sopping wet. I had watered the night before and apparently I forgot to pull the drain plug from the drainage trays, so they were too wet. Too wet to repot. What do you do? I thought you'd... It's literally 3 degrees outside. What are we doing? What are you doing, Turbo? I'm not coming out there with you. I'm not going to hold your hand while you pee. It's too cold. Turbo, just go pee. Go to the grass. Okay, well then come back in. I guess you thought we were going to go out and play. We're not going to play. It's not outside. Oh, I forgot. I put a sensor out here to verify the readings from the other thing. Did you think that I threw... I didn't throw anything. I'm sorry. Come on. It's too cold. It's not good for you. It's not good for either of us. It's too much cold. Got a -1 last night. I didn't put this out till this morning though. So actually the coldest reading I got on this sensor was I think 7 or 8 degrees. And then the one that's still out there, that was already out there, I'm getting really bad reception with it. Like it cuts in and out. Coldest temperature I got on that was 13, I believe. And coldest temperature in the greenhouse was 12.9. So that's the coldest that it has gotten in there. I think it's okay. It was brief. The sun came up, and once the sun was up, it like skyrocketed to like 35. So I think that whatever's in there is okay, but it's still too cold. I'm not going to go out there and check on anything. I just want to keep it... It needs to stay shut. Keep it sealed shut. That's what I was saying. Hey, baby. These have come in very handy today. Electric hand warmers. I love these things. I love them. They split apart like that, so you have one for each hand, or you can just like bundle them up together. So nice. Because somebody takes a very long time to go to the bathroom now. That's right. I'm talking about you, Toby. Oh my gosh. Is that dirt or just need to repaint? Oh, I just need to that's good. I was going to say, that's disgusting if that's all dirt. Oh no, I forgot to turn the heater off. Is it off? Okay, it's off. It takes 2 minutes to cool down and shut off. Last time I was out here, this is weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, that heater with my new microphone, the audio was just horrible. Actually, I should probably restart. I'm going to restart. Restarted to reset it just in case, because it was bad, real bad. So here's where I left off, or actually I did some things off camera. It just didn't seem like it was worth filming. These are a couple of pots that I have that I would like to plant up, which is deviating from the main task, which was that I need to repot these guys over here. That's where I set them to dry on the scaffolding that I said I would never set plants on. That's where I set them, because they were just sopping wet. Do I need to explain some more? We can get back to the other thing that I was deviating from in this deviation. So I watered heavily, not last night, the night before last. And there's little plugs that I've put into the bottom of these drainage trays right here, the Botanicare rack trays. That's what those are called. I sometimes keep those plugs in there when I water so that the plants can really soak things up, and then I don't have to water quite as heavily, conserve some water that way. And I find it really useful if I'm applying some type of fertilizer or a systemic, something like that, for them to really be able to suck up the water. But it didn't all drain out because I forgot to take the plug out. They're like, you can pull them up and adjust, and there's a little hole in them so you can slow the flow. You get it. These plants just ended up sitting in water for about 24 hours, which is okay. They're all right, but they were sopping wet and I didn't want to mess with their roots. I did the same thing by mistake with this shelf down here. This is where my cactus and succulents are. And it looks like it's still trickling out. The other problem I have with these plugs, I don't think I'm going to be able to show you guys, but they get clogged up really easily. So any bit of dirt or debris that gets in there and the water does not drain out. And I put some pretty big holes in there. But yeah, it's a very slow trickle to get the water out. So that's something I should fix. Here they are. This is what I've got that I need to repot. I have 4 bananas, 2 Musa unionensis, and 2 Bulbosianas. Great bananas. Nice cold hardy bananas. And then this really cool ginger over here that's called Vanilla Ice. It has a really nice heavy variegation on it. I don't know... Have we talked about this? I can't remember. I filmed a haul where I got all of these plants, but that video actually hasn't come out yet. So, spoiler alert, here's the plants that are being a video that'll come out in a few weeks. I don't know when it's... At some point you're going to get to see it. Well, it's a variegated hedychium, like this one over here. One of my favorites, rave about all the time. The Tahitian Flame. This one, the variegation is much heavier on. I believe we've talked about this maybe in a garden tour. But I might just be having flashbacks to when I filmed the Plant Delights haul video. That was back in October, something like that. It's a nice ginger, but you can see needs to be repotted. So this is all the growth that it had when it showed up, and that's why it's bent, you know, from shipping. I think this is, yeah, this is, so it had these 3 on it when it showed up, and it has all this new stuff coming out from the bottom. So I'm seeing some action there, which means it's be a good time to go ahead and bump it up into a much larger container. These can take a dormancy, but when they're in these smaller pots, I prefer just to keep them going through the winter and let them have their next dormancy when they're bigger and they have a much larger, more established rhizome, or series of rhizomes, really. So that's all of these. Now let's get back to those cute little pots over there. I'll take one with me, so we'll get it done. Okay, aren't these cute? Oh, I pulled the gymnocalyciums out. These were on that bottom shelf that was full of water. That could have been bad. These are so stinking cute. So this is, well, it's a warp pipe, if you know Mario. I have the box for that somewhere. Here it is. Super Mario warp pipe pen and plant pot. So they got that part right. I actually think the Fairy Castle cactus in there, well, actually I don't think that's what that is, but you get it. That same kind of aesthetic. I really like it. I don't have one of those right now, but I do really like it. This didn't have a hole. This is the box, obviously didn't have a hole in the bottom. This obviously didn't have a hole in the bottom, because nothing ever does. That's why I said obviously. So that's what I was doing off camera last night. Drilled a hole in the bottom of this pot. I don't have anything right now that I think would look great in it, but I have some ideas for some things I think would be pretty cute in here. But it's gonna have to wait on that. I was thinking about maybe one of the gymnocalyciums over here. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about these variegated Mahavakianas. Remember if I'm saying that right. Great color on these. Probably would be even better if I would turn my lighting on while I'm filming. Get the other one going. Got some more. There we go. Look at all that color. Isn't it beautiful? Very pretty variegated cactus. That would look neat in there. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's quite big enough yet. It would just be kind of flat. They're not a really big round cactus. They're kind of a short, smoosh round cactus. Do you know what I mean? It is planted fairly far down in there. Oh, that might be an option. We will see. I also thought about maybe doing one of the Fernwood Mikado. I don't know how you say it. You know what I'm talking about. Sansevieras in here, or Dracena. Those are really great succulents. They really fill out fairly quickly, and they have really fun growth that goes out in a sharp angle and a thin leaf on them. I don't know. It's just ideas. It's fun to think and talk about these things, but it's too cold to go out and shop for plants right now, so I'll just have to wait for another time. And I also, when I was at the restaurant supply store in the department with all the like bowls and plates and cups, I found this coconut. There's just one sad little lonely coconut cup. And did you hear my voice? It cracked. My voice cracked. It's what it does sometimes when I'm talking on the camera. I drilled a hole in the bottom of this too, and I also thought it was interesting that it says Orchids of Hawaii on here. Kind of cool. Might be able to check that out. Just thought it looked neat. I thought, hey, that would be fun to plant something in, which is that's why there's a hole in the cup now. Won't be drinking out of that anytime soon. I was thinking, I don't have this, but I would like to find an Oncidium Twinkle. That is a type of orchid. And they stay really small, just itty bitty little orchids, and they put out big sprays of tiny little flowers. I think that would look cool in there. But there are a lot of things that would look cool in there. Maybe a tiny little parlor palm, maybe. It's nice to think about these things, and it's fun to have options that will give me some fun ideas for whenever I do make it back out to some nurseries and see what's going on with the houseplants. That probably won't be until February, which is only, a week and a half from whenever this video comes out. So not that far off into the future, and be able to start grabbing some houseplants. I thought about placing an order for some terrarium plants because I've got the bug. I'm itching to do some terrariums or just like plant up a beautiful vase or something. But I only have a few plants that I think would be well suited for that sort of thing. I have some, what the things, what are they called? These right here, Petunia. These are Petunias that could use an upgrade. These are the Petunias that I got from, Hertz last year. I did a whole video last winter where I ordered a bunch of plants. I'm thinking from Hertz. Don't hold me to that. I ordered them from somewhere, a very big popular seller, and they shipped them during one of these Arctic blasts like we're having right now, and pretty much everything showed up dead. I put these these Petunias into a plastic bag, and eventually over the summer they randomly started putting up some new growth. And I haven't watered these. This bag has not been opened. They've just been sitting in this bag since last January or February. Great plants for a terrarium, right? Because they can just sit in the spot without any hydration. I just realized that I've just been going in circles here. I'm supposed to be repotting things. Am I procrastinating? I might be procrastinating. Okay, get y'all back up here onto the desk tripod and get these 5 plants knocked out. I'm wondering, I should probably add some more soil to this, shouldn't I? I have some ocean forest that I think would mix well with this, and I just need to dilute the sand down some. This is okay. Gingers, bananas, they're gonna be fine with the sandy soil. I would just like to get some more organics into the mix because, well, they're gonna be in this, right? For what? February, March, April, May. Oh, only like 4 or 5 months, and I'll be able to put them in the ground. I may have gone too big with their new pots. I didn't think that through. It is what it is. There's a scoop of the ocean forest. I should probably add a few more scoops of the other. I'm gonna need so much soil because the pots I bought were way too big. Have y'all even seen them? Did I show you the containers? They're right behind me. Been using one as a trash can. Look at that. You see this thing? Look at the size of that container. I think it's fine, right? This should be okay. When you put the plant in there, it's only about 1.5 inches to 2 inches on the outside diameter, all the way around the pot, which is actually perfect. It really seems very drastic, doesn't it? That seems like way too much of an upgrade, but it's not. These are all plants that grow very quickly. Maybe a little bit premature for this kind of a thing. I only say that because, well, it's so cold out this time of year right now, and it's going to be a while before it warms up. Usually these types of repots are things I like to hold off on until it's closer to March, because that's when temperatures are more mild outside, and therefore it's a lot warmer in here. That heater running full blast, it's keeping it pleasant in here, but not like grow kind of warm, especially, you know, when it's, what did I say, 3 degrees outside right now. The heater's doing its best, but you can only do so much when it's that cold outside and you're in a garage that's only partially insulated. The ceiling's not insulated. It's partially insulated, but there's an attic up above there, and there's no insulation in the attic, and in order to insulate it would require taking everything out, and I think it'd be easier to just move. There's so much stuff up there. I can't even imagine trying to get it all out to insulate it. How did we get here? What was I talking about? What's going on now? Right, repotting stuff. Let's just get some stuff repotted. Don't need to talk about it for too terribly long. Gonna get a nice scoop of the soil in here. I love this big scoop. I was debating when I was at the store between getting one of these big plastic ones. They had giant metal ones. I didn't get the giant metal one because I was like, oh, it'll rust. Not really thinking about, they're meant for like ice, so they're meant to be around moisture, right? I think this might break. That was my whole point there, is the handle on this. It's really got a lot of flex to it. Metal would have been better, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure I'll be back at that store many times. Oh, good. I think that looks pretty good. Do we like the white pots? What do you think? I think they look nice. Price, a bit much. Yeah, wait, I'm pretty sure we talked about this, didn't we? I'm pretty sure I told you, because it was like $49 for the 5-pack, and I was saying that seemed expensive. Okay, hey, these look okay. Sopping wet, but they look okay. That's good. I don't want them up too high. What I always say when I plant these things up, I like to be able to soak and drench the plant. I don't want to have to mess with doing a little drink of water and let it soak down, a little drink, let it soak down. No, I don't have time for that. Just want to be able to drench it. I need a smaller shovel. I didn't think this through. This isn't going to work out for getting things like this potted up unless I'm going to make a very large mess. Just try this little pot. I think that will work well to not spill too much. I added a basin, a catch tub, thinking ahead because I knew this was going to be messy, so I did a good thing. And I'm in my 30s and I still want praise for remembering to not make a mess. Jeez, I think these plants hit the jackpot. Gingers and bananas, what do we always say? Well-drained, organically rich. This is going to be very well-drained and very organically rich. I mean, for a potting mix, right? You can only go so organically rich with a potting mix. because you can get muck and stuff down around the roots of the plants, but I think it's looking pretty good. Very sandy, but I think that that is perfectly necessary for this setup. All right, first one's done. Don't really need the tag. Not going to forget about the name on that one, but I have it. I'm debating cutting back these dead growths or the dying growths. I don't think I'm going to cut them back, but if I can find, I don't know where my scissors went. If I could find them, I'm going to give them a different prune. I have my snippers up here, these, so I can just, it's just been bugging me. The droopiness is bothering me. And I know we always say that every bit of chlorophyll is helpful, and it is. We mean it when we say that, but it was bothering me. They've had those broken pieces on them for months. I'm just glad to see it gone. Want to focus more on getting this nice new growth to pop up. So, okay, 1 down, 4 to go. Now, the only reason I put the tripod up this high was because I thought, hey, maybe you get to see the fish. But they're all hiding. I don't know what their problem is. We'll throw a little bit of food in there for them. Maybe they'll come out. It might be nice to be able to see the fish swim around in the background. They're always hiding when I'm filming it, just because I'm talking too much. It's not great for your ego when even your koi are hiding from you. Ah, there they are, the fish. Nice to see you, fish. Okay, next up, as far as the plants go, is a Musa unanensis. Needs some cleanup. I'll go ahead and do that now. Why not? May as well prune it up before I put it in the new pot, because it's more stable. It's rooted into this one, right? Come in here and cut a bunch of that brown stuff out. These were shipped with not much on them. That's why I was waiting to repot them. That, and I just, time got away from me and I forgot. So that happened too, but I don't know. I would say these haven't been ready for a repot up until maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. I was waiting to see a good amount of new growth coming out the top before trying to get them into something new. So Musa unanensis, there's the tag, unanensis. It goes, I don't know how tall, I can't even remember. It gets big, 240 inches. It's a big one. 7B to 10B. I'm 7A, 6B, 7A. Y'all know that whole new chart that they put out, and I have opinions about that. But it really doesn't drop below 0 that often here. It maybe did last night, like I just mentioned a little bit ago, but it's not that common, except there was last year where we were at like -10 or -12 for 2 weeks straight. But again, that doesn't happen very often. Apparently it's just becoming like a once a year thing, but this is still considered zone 7. I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. I'm going to go with it. I decided I wanted to try some more special hardy bananas. That's why I got these unanensis. What's nice about them is they have a very tall, and I don't want to say compact haddocks. It's not compact, but the bajus, the Japanese fiber bananas, ones that are, I'd say, arguably the most cold hardy. The Laziocarpa, pretty dang hardy, but I don't really think that's comparable to the baju because they just have such a different use in the garden. These will get really tall. They have a tight clump to them, whereas the bajus, they tend to spread, and these will get even taller too. So that's what I was hoping for. If I'm going to be spending all the time and money putting mulch down on some bananas, then I think it would be nice for them to be bananas that might be a little bit more fun than the bajus. So I'm going to be probably moving some of my bajus next year and trying these out in their place. Assuming I can get enough size. I'm like for them to be pretty big when I get them in the ground. And I have 2 of them. This is the other one. Not as much growth on it. Let's say I'm trying to be really careful with it as I plunge it into the pot to its own death. No, it's fine. Planting this down low, I'm fine with that. I could add some more soil and raise it up, but this should be very temporary. And like I was saying before, I do like to have a very dramatic lip so that I can really drench the plants and water them more quickly. All right, moving on to the last bananas. I think there should only be 2 left, right? One, yeah, I only see 2 over there. You know what's interesting, frightening, but also interesting, is that as I mixed up this last batch, I got to the bottom of that bag of the all-purpose mix. It's just Miracle-Gro, nothing special. And it was pretty mucky. It felt really wet. I don't know why. I have no idea why it feels wet, but It sure did. And I don't know, I gave it a sniff. It didn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell great either. So I don't know, I'm just pressing forward, but something tells me that I might need to get rid of the rest of that bag. I'm not really sure. This is the last one, Musa bulbosiana. I'm gonna pop this one up and then we can talk about them some more. Oh, hold on. Just take a moment to appreciate how cute. What a cute banana. Isn't this thing stinking cute? With its little curved trunk and everything. I mean, it shouldn't be curved, but it is. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, so there it is. There's the bulbosiana. The unionensis, I already put them away. So the unionensis, only other things I would add to what I was saying as far as their appeal goes or their appearance, that they will have a slightly reddish undertone to the bottoms of their foliage with the new foliage, and that fades back to green. They have a really nice, pretty white glaucous trunk on them. At Plant Delights, which is where I got these from, they say that theirs have survived since, I believe, 2006, I think is what they said, with no winter protection. And I believe that's the same thing for this one right here, bulbosiana. Bulbosiana, I don't know, how do you say it? I don't care. This one comes from the Mekong River, 4,000 foot elevation. It's one of the parents along with the Ecumenitas that goes into the commercial bananas that we buy and enjoy. But that's, I just got distracted. I got a text message. I'm sorry. The ADD is rampant today, if you can't tell. My niece is, for some reason, just sending a random string of text messages that are popping up on my screen that are really confusing me. They make no sense. I think that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to throw me off. This one, high elevations, can take a good amount of cold, 240 inches tall, so another really big one, and it stays in that nice clump, unlike the Baju, which really wants to spread out and take up a lot of space. What drew me to this one, along with its cold hardiness, at Plant Delights they said that theirs has gone down to, I think they said 9 degrees, no protection, and I could be flip-flopping some of the winter hardness information between these two, but they also said, for sure with the bulbosiana, that it only took it 2 years to reach its maximum size, which is great, right? So the Baju bananas, you plant those, and usually it takes them a few years to really get a nice big clump out of them. But, well, that's just the case with a lot of bananas, actually. Namwas are pretty vigorous. I'm not going to go down the banana rabbit hole right now. This one is supposed to really just get huge. They say up to 20 feet tall in just a couple of years. Now, that's in zone 7B. I'm 7A. I will still be mulching them to preserve some trunk. That was kind of the whole point here, was just a fresh reset to try some different bananas. That's why I got these. And now I'm realizing that I've gone over all this. I'm going to have to wait even longer to release that Plant Delights video because it's going to be very monotonous if that comes out soon after this one, isn't it? Well, there you have it. They've all been repotted. Going to get these potted up here, or planted up, I should say, in the ground. Around mid-May, whenever the chance of frost is gone, the ground seems nice and warm. I do not anticipate needing to bump them up into larger containers. These should be totally fine. These are nice big pots. They're 3-gallon containers. They were just in those little 6 or 8 inch square pots before. This should be good for a pretty long time, or for as long as I want to keep them in their pots, that is. Okay, let's come up here, have a look. They look great, don't they? No, the tie is so in the way. There we go. I tried to stagger them as much as I could so that they wouldn't block out too much light from each other, but I mean, there's only so much you can do. I think this will be good. I would like to get another light hung up here. I just haven't quite figured out my method for that yet. The issue that I was having was that there's not a stud to drill into right here, but then I was thinking about, I don't need a stud. Well, I mean, I could like makeshift something with a 2x4. I'm not going to do all that. I could just run something from here to this hook and then chain onto that, like around here, and then I could run another light. I know I deviated, but that's what we do here. There they are. Not much to see. And probably going to be that way for a while. I normally just love the initial watering when I repot things. Helps to settle the soil, and it's just good for the plants, right? You need to do it. But I'm gonna wait because it's just so cold outside. And I guess I'm a little bit paranoid about losing power. We shouldn't. There's no ice or anything in the forecast, but just with that kind of cold, it could really kill everything in here. So just to be safe, I want to keep them more on the dry side. You saw those root balls. They're already really wet. I don't want to make them even more wet. Just gonna wait another day for this cold front to move out of here, and then I will water them in. They're not going to desiccate and dry out. The soil that I planted them in is already fairly moist, and you saw them. They're drenched. They're sopping wet. Putting these up here freed up some space because, well, it didn't free up some space. I had to free up space to move these up here. That's what I meant to say. Freed up a lot of space down here, though. So there's a lot of open space on this shelf now, which is great because that's a shelf for taller plants. Oh, and look at the begonia. We didn't have a good view of that before. It was all the way up there on that top shelf. Isn't that just a beautiful plant? Okay. Get down from here without falling. There we go. Yeah, this is the double dot begonia. Just came as a teeny tiny little plug last year, I think from the Green Escape on Etsy, and it has grown quite nicely. Look at all the spots. It's so pretty, and I love the way the new foliage comes out with that fun curl on it. I mean, it's just Immaculata. It's Immaculata with a lot of extra spots on it that really sparkle and glisten. There's a slight pinkish hue to it. It's a very pretty plant. So I'm glad to have that down here now, because it didn't make sense to have it all the way up there on the top shelf. And with the space that's left on this shelf, I can move what few plants are left on the ground up to there. That's probably going to have to wait, though. Things are really crammed in here right now, and that's because there are so many things inside right now because of this Arctic blast that, well, especially the tie, it's been a problem. I had to push everything this way to make room for plants that you can't really see, but they're over there by the garage door. I've showed them before. Looking at the forecast, looks like it's going to be back into the mid-30s, low 40s next week, which means I'll be able to move all that little stuff out and at the very least put it into the greenhouse, right, cold frame. The cold frame in the backyard, and then I can go ahead and scoot everything back that way and have some space to breathe again. This just isn't going to work, right? Long term, no good. For 3 weeks, not a big deal. Can handle it, but I would not want to do this all winter. I have bananas back there that I don't even know what's going on. I can kind of see them, and there's heliconias and all kinds of things. I can't get to it. I blocked myself in. So hopefully next week I'll be able to just give everything a scoot back. Even just like 2 feet is all I need. Just like 2 feet of space, and then I'll be able to get in here more easily. Some of the plants that I need to move that are over here are of the more delicate nature and kind of valuable. So I just want to be careful with what I'm doing right there. But yeah, that's good. There's some more order in here now. I mean, not a lot. Things are still pretty chaotic. Always will be. But you know what I mean. It just looks nicer. I do like the white pots. It doesn't really matter. They're basically nursery containers, but it's just something fresh. Looks good, I think. And there was something else I'm going to update everybody on, but I don't remember. Should I do a garden tour at the end of the month? Have to plan that out. I mean, not a garden tour, but I guess it would be a grow space tour. Could go outside depending on the weather and just look at how everything's all brown and dead looking. Y'all let me know. I give a lot of updates during these Saturday vlogs, so I don't know how much of it would be new, how much of it wouldn't. I don't know, it would probably be more interesting to people who only pop in for the tours and those sorts of things. But yeah, comment down below. Say hi. What are your thoughts on that? Fun ideas for the new pots I have over here. I mean, my mind's just spinning with all kinds of fun things I could put in these. Hopefully the nurseries will get stocked up here in a month or so and get those planted up. And just say hi. I love talking to everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. I see the weather down south. I am so sorry. I cannot imagine if I lived in like Houston, and you know my garden would be insane if I was in 9B and then we had inches of snow. Devastating. I'm so sorry. Hopefully y'all are okay and it melts quickly and the roads aren't too bad and the pipes aren't bursting and everything like happened several years ago, and the plants are okay. I don't know, it's pretty cold, but this is how we find new hardy cultivars, not cultivars, but varieties. It's that's sort of synonymous. Forms with the palm trees. You see what survives those extreme colds and you get the seeds from those, and someday we'll have palm trees that are like guaranteed into zone 7 and zone 6. I can almost guarantee it, other than like needle palms and sables, some more fun stuff. That's the dream anyways. Yeah, it's time to go. Hope everybody's doing well. Have a great day, a great life, and everything's going absolutely beautiful for you. And of course, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye-bye.